Hi guys, it's Jessica, also known as One Book at a Time, and today I wanted to do the mid-year book freakout tag. So the first question is the best book you've read in 2018. I picked my favorite physical book and then my favorite audiobook that I've read. The best physical book that I've read this year would probably be The Librarian of Auschwitz. I heard Haley and Bookland talking about this book a while ago, and I finally was able to get it earlier this year, and it was just an amazing story. It's a World War II historical fiction about this 14-year-old girl. She lives in one of the Auschwitz camps, and the specific block that she's on is for young kids and families. She eventually gets to be the librarian in charge of hiding the precious 8 books that they own, as well as they have what they refer to as living books. So a few of the teachers in the school, each of them has a childhood story that they have completely memorized, and so they're in charge when the class wants to hear that story. Then she gets that specific teacher to tell that story to the kids. The best audiobook I've listened to this year would definitely be The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. Kind of sensing a theme here probably, but it's another World War II historical fiction. It's about these 2 sisters, and they live in this small town called Carivo in France. Isabelle is about 19 when the war starts. She really wants to get involved in the resistance and actually make a difference. Just because she's a girl, she doesn't just want to sit idly by and not do anything while all the young men are off to war and fighting for France and freedom. She hates the idea of her beautiful France being taken over. She moves in with her older sister Vienne and her niece Sophie. It's a story of their relationship as sisters and kind of the trials they go through. Vienne is honestly just trying to survive the war. It's hard for her to see Isabelle getting involved in the resistance. She just wants to protect her sister. She doesn't want to cause kind of any disturbances. She just wants to fly under the radar a little bit and just survive the war. So I definitely would recommend The Nightingale by Kristen Hanna. The second question is the best sequel that you've read in 2018, and for me that would definitely be Cricket Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo. It's a wonderful story. I talked about it in my Bookish Favorites video. It follows Waylon, Kaz, Inej, Matthias, and a few others as they continue kind of their heist, and I really like the direction that Leigh Bardugo took with the storyline, how she continues to build the characters and reveal more about their background, their stories. I definitely really enjoyed this book, and it was a wonderful conclusion to this duology. The next question is a new release that you haven't read yet, and that would be Obsidio by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I really enjoyed Illuminate and Gemina, and so I picked this book up as soon as I could after release day. And unfortunately I haven't been able to get to it yet, but I definitely want to pick this up as soon as I can. It just continues the story with all the characters that we've met in Illuminate and Gemina. Kind of heard it just brings all the characters together, and it's a really good conclusion to the trilogy. And again, I really enjoy this series because it incorporates a very unique way of being written. It's written entirely in manuscripts, documents, emails, instant message, and so that's kind of what I really enjoy about this series. So yeah, I hope to pick this up really soon. So the next question is, what is your most anticipated release of the year? And that it would be Escaping from Houdini by Carrie Maniscalco. It's expected to be released on September 18th. I'm really excited about this book. So we've had Stalking Jack the Ripper, we've had Hunting Prince Dracula, and now we're getting a story about Houdini. It's set kind of on a Titanic-like ship, and all of a sudden murders start happening, and it's even more scary because everybody's on a ship. It's hard to find somewhere to hide. You can't exactly escape from a ship. You're in the middle of the ocean, so definitely should continue the kind of those creepy vibes, and I look forward to following more of Audrey Rose and Thomas's stories. The fourth question is, which book was your biggest disappointment? I had heard about this book, The Queen of Hearts by Kimmery Martin, and I picked it up earlier this year around Easter. I was kind of expecting more. It's about these two friends, and they've been really close since before med school. They went through med school together, and now they're doctors and wives and mums. All of a sudden, this doctor from their past, this friend who, when they were doing their residency, they met, kind of comes back into their lives, moves back to town, and it kind of brings up this secret from the past. And so when I heard the synopsis, I was really intrigued by it. The actual secret, when it was revealed, again, I was expecting something more shocking. It was decent. It definitely wasn't a bad book, but I kind of just expected more from the whole book. The sixth question is, which book was the biggest surprise? And so that would definitely be Scythe by Neil Shusterman. When I first kind of heard people talking about it, because it definitely took Booktube and Bookstagram by storm, and I really enjoyed the direction that Neil took with the world and the characters that he's created. Question 7 is your favorite new or new to you author, and that would be Victoria or V.E. Schwab. I had picked up her Darkest Shade of Magic trilogy early this year, and I also finished The Savage Song by her about a month ago, and I absolutely love her writing and the different characters that she writes and the worlds that she's imagined, and just she's definitely a very talented author. I cannot wait to read more of her books. Question 8 is your newest fictional crush, and I'm currently in the middle of the audiobook Heartless by Marissa Meyer. And so the character of Jest, he's really sweet and he's also hilarious. He's a joker. I think just that combination really draws me to him as a character, and just the way that he pursues Kath in the book. Yeah, I would definitely pick him. Number 9 is your newest favorite character, and that would definitely be Morgan Crow from Nevermore, The Trials of Morgan Crow. I really emotionally connected to her and how she transitioned to her life at home, where she's this cursed child and incredibly unlucky, responsible for kind of all the bad things that happen. And all of a sudden she's now taken to a world where she's wanted and she's excited, and she now gets to discover this ability that she never knew she had. I can't wait for the sequel. So yeah, Morgan Crow. Question number 10 is a book that made you cry. I would have to choose Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. It's another World War II historical fiction, and it follows these 4 different characters as they're trying to flee the Soviets and try and make it safely to this huge ship that'll take them kind of away from most of the fighting and take them to a new home. And so definitely there's moments where kind of near the end where I was definitely emotionally connected and invested in these characters. So I won't give any more away, but definitely if you enjoy World War II historical fiction, then give Salt to the Sea a try. A book that made me happy, which is question number 9, is Geekerella by Ashley Poston. This is another one I talked about in my bookish favorites. Again, what I look for in a contemporary is the characters. I want to be able to relate to them and connect with them, and also the element of fandom and comic conventions that is introduced in here, and just relationship between Elle and Darian definitely had me really happy, and I kind of flew through this book, so it was really good. My favorite book to film adaptation, which is question number 10, was For Wonder. I adored that movie. It was so sweet, and you definitely felt for August, his sister, and his parents. He's been homeschooled his whole life up to now. He's about to enter grade 5 because he was born with facial deformities and they were so severe. They required him to have many surgeries. But now that he's going into grade 5, starting middle school, his chance to enter the real world and find out what life is like out in public. So it was a really, really awesome movie. Question number 13 is the favorite review or the favorite video you've made this year. And I would have to say my very first video, my Booktube newbie tag video, is definitely something I'm very proud of. Starting Booktube is obviously a huge thing, and so I'm really excited to kind of continue on this journey and connect more with the Bookstagram and Booktube communities. So yeah, I was really proud to kind of put myself out there and make my first video. Number 14 is the most beautiful book that you've either received or bought this year, and that would definitely be Children of Blood and Bone by Tomi Adeyemi. It is a West African inspired fantasy novel by a debut author, and it's absolutely stunning, the cover. And not only the color scheme, but just kind of the design is so beautiful. And so I'm definitely excited to read this. And the last question is, what books do you really need to read by the end of the year? I have a few in mind for sure. And so I'm going to include Escaping from Houdini. I just have Stalking Jack the Ripper kind of sitting in for that. I'd also like to read Children of Blood and Bone. It has been on my TBR for too long, and it's obviously another fantasy novel and one of my favorite genres, so definitely need to get this read by the end of the year. I have Throne of Glass standing in for Tower of Dawn and Kingdom of Ash, which comes out later this year, so I definitely want to read those by the end of the year, and I'm very excited for the release of Kingdom of Ash that's coming out later in October. Legendary by Stephanie Garber. This is a fairly new release, and I really enjoyed Caraval, and so this is the sequel to that. In Caraval it followed Scarlet, but now in this book it follows her sister Donatella. I'm very excited to read this. And last but not least, I'm hoping to reread the Mortal Instruments series, and then hopefully finish the Infernal Devices series, as well as the Dark Artifices trilogy, in which Queen of Heir of Darkness is coming out in December, so I want to finish these books before it comes out. Well, that's it for the video. Thank you for watching. Again, comment down below some of your favorite books that you've read so far this year, and if you have any video suggestions for me, videos you want to see, definitely leave those below as well. I will link my Instagram page and my Goodreads page in the description bar below. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Bye!